Tonight, in celebration of Black History Month, we want to highlight a love story for the ages. It involves the couple behind one of the largest collections of African-American art and artifacts in the world. Elise Preston is in Los Angeles with their story.
Shirley had gotten arrested at Florida A&M, and that started this love affair.
Bernard and Shirley Kinsey's love affair is more than 60 years strong.
You can't just say Shirley got arrested. What's the backstory there?
Well, in 1963, Tallahassee was terribly segregated, and anybody that demonstrated was arrested.
It was 2 weeks after the March on Washington, and so I immediately had to go get involved.
The couple married in 1967. The co-eds went from changing history to conserving it.
Well, we made two commitments to each other. We love art and travel.
They lived off his pay as a Xerox executive and invested her teacher salary. In the early 70s, a print from the late artist Ernie Barnes started their collection. It now numbers more than 700 pieces and counting. The Kinsey collection of African-American art and history is recognized as one of the largest, most encompassing collections chronicling the Black American experience.
All of this is from our collective ancestry.
It's currently here, occupying 150,000 square feet of space at SoFi Stadium. It's traveled the world in nearly 2 decades, seen by more than 16 million people.
It gives me chills because I just think that Black history is so rich.
Gallery owner Jack Forbes advises institutions on the curation of Black art. She believes this is needed now more than ever.
It's undeniable. When you actually see the paper, you know this is real. We're in a culture where things are being denied, but you can't deny what's tangible in front of you.
The SoFi exhibit features works by Elizabeth Catlett, this Buffalo Soldier flag, and a handwritten Muhammad Ali letter. It's just a tenth of their treasures. But son and curator Khalil Kinsey is on a mission to make the precious collection even more accessible.
The conversation around a physical location is going to be critical to preserve the collection.
Preserving a legacy built on love, framed in their commitment to each other and their culture. Elise Preston, CBS News, Los Angeles.
All right, here we go. First of all, thank you so much. Y'all have a seat. I wanted to figure out who they were talking about, all this guy. But you know what? When you live a good, long life, you can do a lot. And Shirley and I have been serious for 59 years. Shirley Kinsey, Shirley Pooler Kinsey, stand up again. Let everybody see you. She is the best part of my day and night. And we just celebrated our 59th anniversary Wednesday, all right? So, oh yeah, I need this, okay. And then next to Shirley is, Nick Walker. Nick and I go back 65 years to Florida A&M. Nick, stand up, let everybody see you right quick. Pam Walker, they just celebrated their 41st anniversary. But our son, Khalil Bernard Kinsey, please stand up, let everybody see you. You know, we say that one of the best things we've done is our son because we think he's the amalgamation of Shirley and I. He has the best qualities of Shirley and myself, and he's a remarkable young man. He's a businessman in this town, has an art gallery, has a wine bar. I know y'all can't go, but if you do, it's over in Santa Monica. I'll give a little plug. And the last 3 years, it's been one of the top wine bars in Los Angeles. And just really proud of him. And without Khalil Kinsey, we could not have done what we've done around the world. Okay? So let me do this. Let me start. Let me slow down a minute. I am full. I am so pleased to be here with you. I love the Blake family, Lady Blake, Lady May, Bishop, y'all may not know this, but Shirley, May, and Bishop, we've been friends for a long time on a down low kind of thing. You know, we ain't talking about it, but we have been very, very close on a personal level. So it's just with that, I'm full of being back in this church. I was here with Lawrence Champion Blake, was his homecoming, Shirley and I, and we sent our condolences to Deanna, to Pastor Charles, to Bishop Blake, to Janine, and to Kim, and to the entire Blake family in losing their son. I mean, it's just hard to imagine losing your son. So, but let me try to get on course. I got a lot to talk about in terms, because here's what we want to do. We want to give you some of what has worked for us, okay? And you know, people say, well, I don't care what you did. I want to know how you did it. So that's what we're going to be talking about, the how-tos. You know, how we were able to come here with $26 in a job, okay, 59 years ago, and made a life. Because that's what everybody in this room has to do. Youth choir, that's what you got to do. You got to make a life. And I don't care where you come from, it's your life. And if you don't construct it right, shame on you. You follow me? Okay, all right. So here we go, okay. I am grateful for the gift of grace, and especially grateful for the friends and family who walked with me through both joy and challenge. Today I'm holding space and sending love to the people I care about, my friends, my relatives, and my family, and especially each and every one of you. And may joy grow where joy already exists. May peace and grace find those experiencing pain or loss, and may confidence and clarity replace any doubt. On this day of gratitude and giving, I'm thankful for each and every one of you, wishing you warm and meaningful blessings. Okay? I just came back from West Palm Beach. My first cousin, LaVon Kinsey, passed. And I think I'm just full of LaVon. I'm full of Lawrence. And Proverbs 13:22 says, a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. LaVon Kinsey, 4 children, 9 grandchildren, and 14 great-grandchildren. I mean, it's just a blessing what he has done with his family in West Palm Beach. So I'm just with him right now. Okay, so, all right. Shirley and I live our lives on 2 simple principles. To whom much is given, much is required, and a life of no regrets. Now, let me just say this right now. Take your pen and paper out, okay? Because you don't know when a thought, an idea, a concept is going to change your very way of thinking, okay? And that's what this is about. Giving you information that has worked for us, but guess what? It may work for you if you accept it, okay? We moved to Los Angeles, I said, 59 years ago. And let me tell you what Miss Shirley Pooler Kinsey and I agreed on. We agreed when we were married that we would not spend her paycheck. This is so simple, it's hard. And most things in life that are simple are very hard, okay? And for the first 15 years of our marriage, we didn't spend a dime of Shirley's check. When our friends were buying new cars, we bought a 1961 Dodge Lancer, no heat, no air conditioning, no seat belts, for $250 on Crenshaw, and drove it for 5 years and sold it for $275. And I figured out right then that this is the way this works. Instead of buying a new car and it depreciating, buy an old one and sell it. You follow me? But more importantly, for 15 years, we didn't spend a paycheck. I don't know many, and the reason I love me some Shirley Poole Kinsey is because she and I see the future the same. If you and your mate can agree on what the future looks like, you can almost do anything. Okay? And if you can't, you're probably not going to do much of that. I spoke last week, and I said about a couple. One went to the Grand Canyon and looked down and said, "This is a beautiful, beautiful, magnificent place." And the wife said, "This is a big hole." I said, right then, this marriage will not last. And it didn't. Why? Because they could not see the future the same. So it's very important. I'm going to be bringing this to you all, okay? All right. So let me go back. I got one thing I got to say here. You know, Bernard Kinsey does not mind talking about what we got to do. Everybody in this room must be concerned about the situation in America and the outright attacks on black life. Hear what I just said? Okay? Obama has a famous quote, "Elections matter, so does voting." For those that couldn't vote for a black female president, elections matter, okay? For the voters that didn't believe that they would eliminate DEI, elections matter, okay? For Arab Americans who stayed home because of Gaza, look what Trump did with Gaza. He gave it away. You need to simply stop buying from companies that have gotten out of DEI, like McDonald's and Target. How could you go to those stores and they're not supporting us, okay? You know why white people got more money than black people? Because white people spend money with white people and black people spend money with white people. And until we change that around, we're going to be poor as a people, even though we generate $1 trillion in this economy. Okay? All right. I ain't even got to my talk. I don't know what the hell I'm going to talk about in a minute. Okay. All right, here we go. All right. Frugality is the way to wealth. Frugality is the way to wealth. You hear what I just said? Not looking like you got money, but having money. And you can't have money if you don't save money. Okay? And invest money. Okay? Okay. You need 3 things for a successful life. Someone to love. Everybody needs a Shirley. Something to do. In other words, what gets you up in the morning? You follow me? And then one is most important is something to look forward to. A purpose in life. Okay? God, grant me a gift that I can give to someone else that needs it more than me. And I want everybody to say this, okay? God, grant me a gift to give it to someone else that needs it more than me. And you know what? That's exactly what Shirley and I have been doing the last 59 years, okay? We raised a little over $40 million. We sent 250 to 300 kids to HBCUs, okay? We've been serious because God blessed us. But let me tell you what. If you save your wife's paycheck or your husband, whoever, you know, and then, so for 15 years we saved Shirley's check. Then we took 9 more years, and then I retired at 47 in 1991. That's what that looks like, okay? Okay? That's what it looks like, okay? But for 24 years, we sacrificed. We would ride up to the Beverly Hilton in my old car, and everybody got these new cars. But guess what? We already bought all the apartment buildings and houses and commercial buildings. You follow me? And people buying cars. That's the last thing you need. That's why you got Metro over there. Use it. Okay? All right. Okay. So, okay. There are 3 types of people in the world. One that dreams for 12 hours and does little work. one that works nonstop and never dreams. And I want you to be in the third category. To dream for an hour and spend the rest of your day making it happen. Okay? That's where the work happens in the category. There's a saying I want everybody to say, leave the door open and the ladder down. Let's everybody say, leave the door open and the ladder down. That's the way out for black folks. And what it says simply is, if I get through the door, I'm turning around and opening and bringing somebody else with me. Okay? And if you're not about doing that, shame on you. You got Mark Ridley Thomas in the office. Let me tell you what, there would not be, I can't overstate this. There would not be a Drew Hospital without him. He put it on his shoulder and walked with it. Okay? Yes, sir. Okay? And I love the relationship he and Avis have developed. You can tell when people got this thing figured out. Okay? Robbie Reed, a casting director. Is Kevin Meredith here? Is Kevin here? Yeah. Kevin, wait, stand up. Let everybody. This brother is a former executive editor at LA Times. You hear what I just said? LA Times. He just wrote an article on Jesse Jackson in the Atlantic magazine. You can read it now. Here's why that's important. Jesse Jackson was also consequential. Consequential. And you get these kind of guys every generation. They don't come around every day. They are generational kinds of leaders. And they don't even want to get a brother his due in the Capitol. You got to be mad about that. Okay. All right. Let me get going here. How we doing, honey? All right, let's go. All right, here's a good one. He who starts behind in the great race of life must forever remain behind or run faster than the man in front. He who starts behind in the great race of life must forever remain behind or run faster than the man in front. Okay? And literally every black person in this country is behind. Because, you know, white people don't, if we run a 100-yard dash, they don't have to run but 97 yards. Or 98 maybe. They never run 100. Because of privilege. These boys, let me tell you. Okay, here we go. For our young people, the biggest mistake you can make is wasting your time. Not only don't waste your time, don't waste mine either. You hear me? Time is free but priceless. You can't own it. It's precious. We all have the same amount of time. You can get more money, but you can't get more time. Think about the people. I think about Lawrence and LaVon. If they could have had one more day, what would that have meant? It would have been everything. And we're throwing our precious time away. Everybody thinks they have more time. And for you young people, stop spending major time with minor people. Hear what I just said? With these knuckleheads that don't mean you no good and sucking up everything that your mom and dad had put in you. Okay? Yeah, I said it. Okay? All right. Mike, where are you? What am I supposed to do next, Mike? Help me. Play. Okay, maybe play is a good one, okay? Come on, Mike. Michael Hughes, this is my man. He's been taking good care of me. All right, here we go. Hold this right here. There you go. That's the setup slide, right, Khalil? Got you, okay. Look at all these black folks. Look at all these. Come on now. Let me tell you what, when you come to a Kinsey Collection show, you change because we have it all. Save the Smithsonian. We got all of it. We got a letter from Frederick Douglass, okay? In other words, this brother actually wrote this letter from Martin Luther King, from Malcolm X. We ain't talking about no picture of no letter. We talking about the letter. It's a difference. You follow me? Okay. Boom. Am I doing it? You got to see this one here. Cleo, come on up here and help me. Watch these pins drop out of the sky. I like this one. Come on now. Come on now. That's where the Kinsey collection has been in the United States. Hear what I'm saying? Okay? Look, I'm dropping all over the world. You hear what I just said? Okay? And people talking about the Kinsey collection. I said, man, we've had 16 million people see the Kinsey collection. You ought to wake up. Check it out. How many people have been on top of SoFi Stadium for 26 months? 125,000 people. You follow me? That's that, okay? Am I doing it all right now, Mike? Got it. Our son, Khalil Kinsey, is brilliant. So we go in, Khalil goes in first, and he figures out what we need to do with our almost 1,000 pieces. And he's just brilliant about bringing this thing. And let me tell you what happened with Khalil. Khalil's been with us now, about 15 years. We're coming up on our 20th anniversary in September. We're going to do a big event in L.A. in September to commemorate 20 years of the Kinsey Collection traveling exhibition. When Khalil started reading the story of accomplishment and achievement, because that's what the Kinsey Collection is. It ain't about struggle, and ain't it awful? It's how black folks overcame what it is. And Khalil has a great way. He said, Dad, black people can't always struggle. Because we love struggling. We love talking about the white man. Come on, man. He ain't thinking about us, and we ain't got time to think about him. Look at this one here. Now, I'm real proud of this. So in October, Shirley and they named the, man, look at this. Dr. Bernard W. and Shirley, that's doctors. So let me do it another way. So in May, Shirley and Khalil were given honorary doctorate degrees at Florida A&M University. That's the first thing, okay? And then guess who was the commencement speaker? Bernard Kinsey. Now, ain't that something? And we got 1,600 graduates and 8,000 people. Florida A&M is a powerhouse school. Don't tell me about no Harvard and all that. Bring them. You follow me? Because let me tell you what, we have to go where black people are going to be. Our kids are going to get the right way to think so when they go out in society, they can be able to make a difference, okay? Here's what the Kinsey Collection do. It strives to give our ancestors a voice, name, and personality, enabling the viewer to understand the challenges, obstacles, triumphs, accomplishment, and extraordinary sacrifice of African Americans in building this country. And all we want to do is to say that we matter, that we can't do all of this and nobody knows about it. You follow me? This is a powerful here. In America, what? Your skin speaks before you do. Why? Because of melanin. The darker you are, the more difficult it's going to be. You follow me? Even these light-skinned brothers like me, we catch hell out here too. So, you know, it works. It works because of how our society looks at black folks. You follow me? Here we go. Help me out, Mike. Okay. This is a good one here. African Americans have always been the symbolic litmus test for the viability of American democracy and symbolically represent the distance between the ideals of America versus the actual practices of America. And this defines what? Who is a citizen, who votes, who goes to jail, who works, who has wealth, and who lives in the ghetto. All because of what? Race. Okay? And then there's another concept. So the 3 Ps. 3 Ps is power, prejudice, and privilege. Everybody say power, prejudice, and privilege. Okay? Prejudice works on skin color, right? Power works on the state being able to institute or to enforce the prejudice. That's what's going on today. when you can just take DEI and take people's contracts and don't pay them. And we ain't said nothing about it. That's what's amazing about this. We've been silent. What are we waiting on? What are we waiting on? Okay. And then the last one is privilege. And privilege is simply that white people believe that their ice is colder than our ice. And it's not. Sometimes we think their ice is colder than our ice. And that's the real problem. You know, I said, you know, privilege is like hitting a triple and thinking, did I say that right? The other way. It's like being on third base and thinking you hit a triple, when in fact you walked all the way to it, right? Okay. The myth of absence. This is probably the most important concept you're going to get today. The myth of absence says that we as black folks are invisible presences. Invisible presences. That means that we're here, we're just not part of the story. We're not part of the dialogue. We're not part of the narrative that makes up this country. You know, Khalil says it this way. It's like you go to the prom and you're the prom king, you get a picture, and then they Photoshop you out. That's what American history says. You're not there. So when you look around, you cannot prove that you were there, even though you did everything about making that picture what it was. And the way the myth of absence works is not through slander, but by ignoring us. By ignoring us. In other words, when they don't even speak our name, we are just not even in the conversation. And in America, if somebody does something of greatness, we assume they were white. That's why you got to identify it. Let me tell you, brothers and sisters have been doing this from the beginning. Let me give you one of these. Okay, before we do it, I'm going to give you a little vocabulary. Every time you see the word discovered, strike it out and say what? Conquered. Because you cannot discover a place that's already occupied. And that's what happened in Americas. From Argentina to Canada, all of this was occupied. Kidnapping. They got a great word, they call it mercantilism. You read these history books, you don't know they're talking about black folks in slavery. You follow me? So you have to train yourself to know what you're looking at. The third one is, every time you hear the word slave, I want you to strike it out and say enslaved. So let's everybody say enslaved. Say it again. And I don't want you to ever use the word slave again. Why? Because no black person woke up one day and said, you know what? I'm going to just give you my freedom. And I'm going to give you my children's freedom and their freedom. You hear me? And the last one is, stop using the word plantation, because it was a prison. Because when black folks were on a plantation, they lived and died on that acreage. And if you call it a prison, it changes how you think about Clark Gable and whatever her name coming down the steps. You follow me? I got plenty of nothing and nothing's plenty for me. I don't like that. You know what I like? God bless the child that's got his own. That's what we want, okay? All right. Now, this is one of the most powerful documents. The Smithsonian don't have this. In 1598, there was a couple named Francisca and Augustine getting married in St. Augustine, Florida, Shirley's hometown. Now, everybody knows that St. Augustine was the oldest city in America. It really is. 1565, Menendez conquered what we know as Spanish Florida, okay? Here's a couple getting married in 1598. Now, everybody's read 1619. You know, y'all get off on that. We came here as enslaved people. I don't like that story because it ain't true. Okay? We have a 1606 document of a baptismal and a 1595 document of a baptismal in St. Augustine, Florida. In other words, 7 years before Jamestown, there were black people in Florida getting married and being baptized. And you don't know anything about it. Why? the myth of absence. If they ignore you and just leave you out, it didn't happen, okay? So let's go to this. I'm going to bring you here to Los Angeles right quick. So here's the United States, the western part of the United States before 1848. You got to read this. The founders of Los Angeles, September 4th, 1781. That's why you got to come see the Kinsey collection. That's why you got to get the book. Of the 44 people that founded this city, Los Angeles, in 1781, 26 of them are black folks. Yeah, they spoke Spanish, but guess what? Everybody spoke Spanish because the Spanish owned what we know as Texas all the way to Oregon. Know your history. Now, you know his story, but you don't know history. We're talking about history, okay? That's why we love what we do. Man, we go into towns. We go to the reddest of red states. We were in Hong Kong. Every subway, every bus stop had the Kinsey collection on it. Why? Because I saw to it. If you want us to come, you're going to show it. In Shanghai, we did it. You follow me? All over the world. And you know what? They come out and they change their idea about who we are. Khalil Kinsey represents us in Hong Kong at a concert on the Kinsey collection. They got 1,300 people, and the Hong Kong Philharmonic plays for the Kinsey collection. Yeah. Okay? And we up here don't have a clue. That's why we came today. Pastor Charles, thank you for having me. I called him. He didn't call me. I said, you know what? I want to speak Black History Month. That's what I said. Yes. Okay? Because y'all need to hear this. Okay? Okay. Now, if you had 26 of the 44 people in L.A. being black, who do you think this brother is, Vicente Guerrero? That's a brother, ain't it? He's the second president of Mexico in 1829. And what's remarkable about this, he was a general in the Mexican army that ran Pizarro and Cortez out of Mexico. You don't even know nothing about him. A brother. He abolished slavery in 1830. We had to have a war in 1865 to do the same thing. Hear what I just said? A war. This brother just said it's done in 1830. A black man. I'm real proud of this document. So this document is a document that Vicente Guerrero held when he was inaugurated in Mexico City in April 29 of 1829. The Kinsey collection has this document. So when we pick, and that's what makes this so beautiful. When we pick it up, we know we have the DNA of that person. And the only way you can get closer, I tell people, the only way you can get closer to these artifacts is jump in the grave with them. That's the only way. It's true. Biddy Mason, an enslaved person that walked from Texas to California with her Mormon enslaver, and she could read and he didn't know it. She told him, oh, California is a free state, and sued for her freedom. Biddy Mason. And guess what? Biddy Mason is the founder of First AME Church, 1872, our church. Okay? You hear what I just said? This sister was the largest landholder in Los Angeles in the 1870s to the 1890s. Never heard of her. Right, Mark? We got a plaque downtown with her name on it. I think on Hope Street somewhere. Look, come on now. Let's go. Everybody going on Pico Boulevard. That's a black man on Pico Boulevard. That's a black man. You don't have a clue. And let me tell you what we got to tell our Latino brothers and sisters. We got dibs here too. Okay? That's what I tell them all the time. So don't tell me to just speak in Spanish. Okay? 26 of the 44 people that founded this city were what? Black folks. Okay? We shouldn't walk into the door backwards. And a lot of us are walking in backwards and got our heads down. I'm saying, come on now. How we doing, Martin? Man, I tell you. Okay. All right. Let me go back one. Okay. This is so. Shirley's uncle, great uncle, I think I got it right, voted in this election in 1867. You can't hardly mess that up. In 1867, because of the Civil War, because of 180,000 black men fighting against the Confederacy, we won the war and black people were free for the first time. Okay? And we got the chance to do what? We got the chance to vote. And let me tell you what, when you vote, you get this. This is 1870. We got a black senator, Senator Hiram Rhodes Revels, from Alcorn, Derek Delaney, your parishioner here, Derek Delaney, is from Alcorn. He founded Alcorn, but he was the first black senator in America in 1870. We had another brother, Bruce Kelso, help me, Cleo. Kelso Bruce, the second black senator from Mississippi. We had congressmen in the 1870s who were Speaker of the House. You never know about it. So if you come to Kinsey lecture, we have the signatures of these people. We've been real serious for a long time about our people. Because if we don't preserve it, it'll just get thrown away. Okay? This will be available to purchase when you get out. And Pastor Charles said it. If you read a page a day, it'll change your life. I say it's the only history book you need because it's the only history book that's got black folks on every page. Yeah, I said it. On every page. And every time you open this book, particularly you young people, you're going to say, I didn't know that. You know, we did a show in Disney for 5 years. We had 12 million people see the Kinsey collection at Epcot. Okay? They put 67,000 employees through the Kinsey collection. 3.2 million people in Florida from 4th grade up studied the Kinsey collection in Florida. Never heard of it, right? I understand. Okay. All right. So how we doing time-wise? We all right? How we doing? Okay. I'm just doing. Okay. So let me just go to this. Okay. So there are the stories that made America, and there are the stories that America made up. Let's everybody say that. There are the stories that made America, and there are the stories that America made up. Why? Because almost everything in this country was made up because there was no black folks in the conversation. It's just that simple. Okay? You can't talk about America without talking about us. Because we did everything in this country, black people did it. And I'm not talking about cotton, sugar, tobacco, and rice. I'm talking about being geniuses. We got a section in the book talk about, early genius. Phyllis Wheatley. You follow me? There's a sister named Nancy Prince in 1840. This sister and 19 other brothers and sisters go to Russia. She forms a business with the Tsar of Russia in the 1840s. You never heard of her. Elizabeth Jennings, 100 years before Rosa Parks, who was a dear friend of ours, she integrated the streetcar system in New York City. Never heard of her. Marian Anderson, she taught Sister Rita Jones. 1898, she sings in Carnegie Hall. Never heard of her. Why haven't you heard of these people? You know why? Because we don't have a context to be able to read about them. So we assume that they didn't do it. Shame on us. But when you get this, particularly our young people, you don't go back. You get, everybody in this room pretty much has a hole in their heart. Let me tell you what the hole is. I don't know who I am, and I don't know where I came from. Okay? That's the hole that we're trying to fill with the Kinsey collection. That's the hole that you have to give your kids so that they know that they matter, so that they will pick this book up themselves without you having to stuff it in their face. Consciousness, okay? Man, I tell you, Bernard, you got, okay. I'm just going to skip ahead because I want to, okay. I got a good one here. I told Shirley, I said, baby, I got too much inside of me that I want to get out, okay? So, okay. Nevertheless, it's been historically shown in every area of creativity where black people have functioned, we have not only quickly mastered the art forms, but also we have taken them to a new, unimagined levels. Music, dance, storytelling, poetry, invention, sports, science, or whatever. We are people that, given the same tools or given no tools at all, we create our way and make new possibilities. We were with Menendez in St. Augustine, Pizarro in Peru, Columbus in the New World, Cortez in Mexico. We were with Washington when he crossed the Delaware. We were with Lewis and Clark in the Northwest Passage, Lincoln at Gettysburg, and Grant at Appomattox. Every one of those black people was central to every one of those people, okay? And here's a good one. Blue jeans didn't come from Levi Strauss. They didn't. The tango didn't come from Argentina. And country music didn't come from Nashville. All of those are African. Blue indigo came from Senegal. That's where blue jeans came from. Okay? You sometimes think that Levi Strauss, yeah, he made the money because black folks couldn't even keep their inventions. You know Elizabeth Jennings, the young lady that integrated the streetcar system, guess who her dad was? Thomas Jennings. Guess what he did? He invented dry cleaning in 1822. Never heard of it. So every time you go to a dry cleaner, give a little something to the brother, okay? Give him a little something. Because if you do, you're going to change how you think, okay? All right. Okay. Every one of us has been warmed by fires we did not build, or drunk from wells that we did not dig, or trees that we did not plant. The measure of our progress is not whether we add more to the abundance of those who have much, but rather we provide enough for the people that have too little. That's what we're about, that have too little. That's what West Angeles is about, providing more for those that have too little. In this country, it's better to be rich and guilty than being poor and innocent. Sit on that for a second. You hear what I just said? It's better to be rich and guilty than being poor and innocent. And Jeffrey Epstein says all you need to say about it. Okay? Because if you have enough money, you'll never see the inside of a jail in this country. Okay? The opposite of being poor is not wealth, but justice. That's what we need. Okay? Freedom is not equality. We've been free since 1865, and we're still fighting it. Okay? There's a saying, got to where I was going, and it was nowhere I wanted to be. Hear what I just said? Got to where I was going, and it was nowhere I wanted to be. What are we going to do to get where we want to go? First of all, we need to take setbacks as temporary. The morning of the fire, I went to the doctor at about 9:30 for 10 o'clock, came back at 10:30, and I couldn't get up the hill to the Palisades because it was burning. I called Shirley. Our car wouldn't start. She couldn't get down. So for the next 8 hours or so, we were trying to get back together. While I was waiting at 10:40 that morning, I made 2 calls. I called and got a hotel suite because I knew we were going to need a place to stay. And I called a real estate broker, Teresa Mack. Are you here, Teresa? Right over here. If you need somebody to help you with real estate, that's the young lady to do it. Because I knew right then that we were going to need a new house. Later that week, Shirley said, Bernard, we're not going to move back to the Palisades. I said, baby, we've already made a step on that one. You follow me? We have a saying, we can see around corners. We can. If you're into this thing right, you can see around corners. So we buy a house on the 23rd of February, tear it down on the 25th, and move back in just here a little bit ago. Right there in Upper Ladera, they call it. Man, I tell you, if I'd have known about Upper Ladera about 20 years ago, I'd have been there earlier. It's a beautiful community, okay? All right, okay. All right. Develop a life plan before you develop a career plan. Don't let people talk about, oh, you got to have a career plan. Man, you need to figure out what the hell you're going to be as a person, okay? When you figure that out, then you can put that job inside of it, okay? Learn to be a 24-hour person. In other words, stop trying to be a chameleon for everybody, okay? Write your goals down. You hear what I said? Write your goals down, okay? Only 3% of people achieve their goals that don't write them down, which means you basically ain't going to get them if you don't write them down, okay? Your life does not get better by chance. Your life gets better by change. Say it. Your life does not get better by chance. Your life only gets better by what? Change. The purpose of life is simple. Bishop, listen, this is Bishop here. The purpose of life is simple. Is to love, to give, and to serve. Let's say that. To love, to give, and to serve. And the last one is to add value to someone every day. That's what this is about. You know, the biggest problem that most of you all have in the audience is not you don't have great ideas, but you can't get somebody to return a phone call. And the reason you can't get a phone call is a lot about your reputation. Your reputation enters a room before you do. Hear what I said? You store all your wealth in your reputation. It's your integrity and your trust you have built up over your life's work. It's what Bishop and Lady Blake have done at this church, okay? Have changed this city. There would not be a metro here without Bishop Blake. You follow me? It just wouldn't have happened. Now, Mark had his thumb on, but he's good at that, okay? But South Los Angeles is better because you have someone like Bishop and May Blake, okay? And this is a real problem solving is something that you just have to get used to as young people and old people. Who do I know who knows who I need to know? Khalil knows this is one of my strengths. So I believe I can get to anybody in America in 2 calls, maybe 2.5. You follow me? Because I have the contacts, the networks, the reputation. When Bernard Kinsey calls, you're going to call him back. That's how it works. Okay? Reputation. Okay? Here's one here. When we were born, we look like our parents. When we die, we look like the decisions that we made. Sit on that for a second. Okay? Hear what I said? Okay. I'm going to do it again. When we were born, we look like our parents. When we die, we look like the decisions we made. If you can really get your arms around it, you're going to change. Because now you know that you have complete control of everything that you do. Okay? People pay for what they do and still more for what they allowed themselves to become. And they pay for it very simply by the lives they lead. James Baldwin. I love this. If your vision for life is measured by status, your upkeep will be your downfall. Hear what I just said? You hear what I just said? I'm going to give you another way. If the price of being you is too high, you'll never pay your debt. Hear what I said? You hear what I'm talking about? Okay? You can't be free if the cost of being you is too high. Sit on that for a second. And a lot of people can't because they've constructed a life that they cannot even live in themselves. And they're always trying to catch up with themselves. The goal in life is not to look like you're winning, okay? The goal in life is to win. Stop spending money on or trying to look like you have money. Wearing clothes with someone else's name and initials on it, we need to stop that. Now, I know we love all these Louis and all this stuff, and we can't even spell some of this stuff. You follow me? And we're showing out. And then we are missing the whole idea about how we grow money. So here's a good one. Making money is an action. Keeping money requires behavioral changes, and growing money requires knowledge. So let me give you an example. If you take $1,000 today and every year put $750 with it and invest it in the S&P, which is the S&P 500, you'll have $50,000 in 18 years, $200,000 in 30 years, and $1 million when you're 55 years old. If you do that every year, okay? A lot of us want to skip. We want to try to get it all in 1 year. End up losing it. Compounding is the way to getting wealthy. Frugality is the money, then you have to invest it, and then let time and interest take it from there. Here's a good one. Obstacles are those things that get in the way when we take our eye off the ball. Let's say it. Obstacles are those things that get in the way when we take our eye off the ball. Obstacles do not block the path. They are the path. Listen, they are the path. If, you know what, when somebody tells Bernard Kinsey no, it just means he and I can't do it. But I'm going to do it. Okay? That's the way I'm built. I don't let people tell me no. The only person who can tell me no is somebody can also tell me yes. Now I listen to them because that's the decision maker. But we let secretaries and assistants tell us no all the time. Well, I can't speak to them. We'll find another way. What stands in your way is the way. Here's a good one. Marriage is hard. Divorce is harder. Choose hard. Let me say it again. Marriage is hard. Divorce is harder. Choose your heart. In 1867, 95% of black people were married. We're down to 30% now. Okay? East Indians have the highest marriage rate and the highest income level. I wonder why. Because it really does take two to tango out here. You follow me? You need both partners working on the same things. I could never have done this by myself. You have to work together. You know, my mom used to say, not only is the grass not greener across the street, it too got to get cut. Okay? So you're always looking across the street about somebody else's stuff, and guess what? He's got the same issues. Exercising is hard. Obesity is harder. You got to get your weight right. You got to get to swimming. Okay? You don't look like this because you sit there and just eat soul food all the time. You got me? That's how it works. Okay. Saving and investing is hard. Being poor is harder. Work is hard. Being unemployed is real hard. You hear what I'm saying? You can choose your heart. Here's a good one. We have a saying, be careful what you think because you don't know where it came from. Because we pick up stuff, another way, it's like going and picking up a sandwich out of the garbage can and eating it. That's what we do with our thoughts. Because we don't have facts anymore. We have opinions that make them facts. That's why we got this screwed up country we got. Because there ain't no facts anymore. It's opinion that people believe so deeply that they don't, even facts won't change it. Here's a good one. Greatness requires that you push past the part of you that doesn't feel like making the effort. You want to say it? Greatness requires that you push past the part of you that doesn't feel like making the effort. And even everybody, myself included, sometimes you say, I just don't feel like calling. Guess what? If you don't call them, you don't get it. So you got to push past it. Okay, here's a good one. The road to failure is a 4-lane highway, and the road to success is under construction. I want you to aim high and miss versus aiming low and hitting. I want you to look for more problems to solve. It's the key to a more successful life. When you have small dreams, and you'll have small obstacles and small payoffs. You got to have big dreams like Bishop and Lady Blake have, which means large dreams, large obstacles, huge payoffs. There are three things that everybody in this room control completely. One of them is your health, the time you spend, and your happiness. Let's everybody say it. Health, time, and happiness. And you know what? You can get used to being unhappy yourself. And a lot of people have gotten so in it off of it, they just believe they're just wallowing in it. I got to where I was going, and there was no place I wanted to be. That's what you don't want, right? Got to where I was going, and there was no place I wanted to be, okay? I want you to stay away from still people, them knuckleheads, those sperm donors. You follow me? Just floating out here, okay? Yeah, I said it. Yeah, I said it, okay? Okay? Stay away from still people, still complaining, still angry, and still broke. Stop hanging around with people that don't smile when you come into the room. When you die, you don't know that you're dead. Only the living feel the pain. It's the same way when you're stupid. Yeah, I said it. Count your life by smiles, not tears. Count your age by friends, not years. Remember, we do not quit playing because we grow old. We grow old because we quit playing. I'm 82, and I got a lot more in the tank. And you know what? I wake up every day with this vitality, okay? And this interest in living and giving and serving. You follow me? And having the best life I can have with my son and grandson and my wife. That's what this is about, okay? To succeed in life, you must be like a rubber band. Once it's stretched, it can't go back to its old shape. It's like the saying, once you're a pickle, you can't go back to being a cucumber. I want you to die with memories and not die with dreams. Thank you so much, Bishop, Pastor. Appreciate you. Boom. All right. All right.